The story begins in the royal capital of Paluma, where some demi-humans were putting boxes in the cargo. A man tells them to hurry up, otherwise, he will beat the hell out of them. A merchant named Benaza arrives and thanks them for filling all of his cargo's boxes. He gives them the money for their work and asks them to wait inside the hotel and enjoy the meal before another of his cargo comes in. The other mechans think he's a weirdo who is giving money to demi-humans, who are considered lowly humans in this world. One of the demi-humans thanks him for his generosity towards them but declines to take the money. Benaza says they deserve this money as they have earned it with their hard work. He reveals he does not believe in this human and demi-human crap and hands him over the money. The leader thanks him, and they decide to head to the hotel to get some food before the other cargo arrives. As they left, the other merchants called him a hypocrite who treats humans and demi-humans equally. Benaza wishes to make this world a place where humans and demi-humans can get along, but his maid says he is the only one in this town who thinks so. Suddenly, he feels something strange in his body and wonders what it could be. A light covers his body, and he vanishes in front of his maid. His maid looks behind and wonders where Benaza is, but it turns out he is Isekai'd to another world, into the magical kingdom of Chlyrode. One of the saints of the kingdom welcomes him and reveals that they have summoned him as a hero candidate. The saint tells him that a dark army is about to invade their kingdom, and they were summoning heroes from another world to assist them in this battle. Benaza says he's not a hero but just a simple merchant who lived a peaceful life in his world. They didn't believe in him and asked him to put his hand on the magic crystal ball so that they could measure his magical powers. They believe the heroes who were summoned from another world receive divine blessings from gods, and their powers are so immense that no ordinary person can acquire them simply by training. Benaza puts his hand on the ball, and his magic stats show up. But everyone gets shocked at the sight of the stats and realizes the hero is not blessed with divine revelation, as these are the stats of a completely ordinary man. Benaza says this was expected, as he already told them that he was a merchant. The other saints can't believe the hero is summoned with the lowest skills of level 1 and wonder what went wrong in the ancient summoning spell. Suddenly, one of the summoners receives a divine revelation from the gods, and each of his level 1 skills is maxed out at 999 points. They realize this man is the hero they have been waiting for and request that he save their country with his immense magic. Benaza asked them to send him back to his old world, as he did not want to stay here, but the people didn't pay any attention and left him alone, wandering in the castle. At first, he doesn't believe he's in another world, but then he realizes that he has to meet with the king to clear up his doubts. He asks the king, and his retainer reveals that he was summoned to this world through a gate that has already been closed and cannot be opened again. Benaza is surprised and wonders how he will be able to return to his world. But the retainer reveals his world doesn't have enough mana power, which is used to open a new gate. They gave him permission to live in their world and offered him a place in the Datta forest, but with the condition that he would not tell anyone about the blunder they had made. The king then rejects him as a hero and sends him to the Datta forest. On the way, he asks the demi-human, who was transporting him, about this world, and the demi-human reveals that he was asked not to speak with him until he lands him in the forest. Benaza thinks the demi-human is a slave just like in his world, but the demi-human laughs it out with the revelation that there's no such thing in this world. In fact, all humans and demi-humans live together in this world. They arrive in the Datta forest, and the demi-human gives him a bottomless bag, which the king told him to give to Benaza. Benaza is glad to see the bottomless bag in this world too, and the demi-human reveals it has all the necessary things inside, including money and food, which will help him last a while in this world. The demi-human decides to leave the area and offered Benaza an advice to leave this forest as soon as possible, if he wishes to live a long life. Benaza is shocked but decides to shove it away, as he believes he does not know any place in this kingdom to go. He opens the bag and is glad that it worked, just like in his world. He looks at the stats and the things he received as a gift from the king. He decides to take out a sword in case of an emergency, but gets surprised to see some slime appear behind them. He believes the slimes are lowly creatures and they will not attack him, but he takes them with his sword after they try to merge with his body. Suddenly, the stats show up and reveal he's leveled up from level 1 to level 2. Benaza can't believe his sight, as he was told that the maximum level in this world is level 1. The stats show him his level 2 powers and the skills with the points, but he gets surprised at the infinite sign and wonders what that could be. Suddenly, he realized that he had acquired a new skill that he could use to talk with the system. He immediately activates it, and the system starts telling him about the magic spells he has acquired by leveling up. Venoza can't believe he has acquired so many spells just by killing those lowly slimes, but he decides to head to the forest to find a safe place where he can protect himself. The system warns him not to go as the Dalavza forest is contaminated with a high concentration of Malicium. Venoza asks about it, and the system reveals that Malicium is a generic term for liquid or gaseous substances emitted and dispersed by demons that cause harm to humanoid races. However, the system says it can clear it up for him if he wants, but the spell it will use will consume 1/3 of his magic. Venoza doesn't care about his magic and asks it to do so. The system does so and purifies the forest with an immense magic circle. Venoza can't believe how powerful the magic was, but he gets surprised when the system tells him that he has leveled up. Meanwhile, inside the royal palace, the first princess is mad at the king for not treating the summoned hero candidate properly, and thinks that if they don't look after him, he will be killed at the hands of the Dark Army. The king doesn't care about Venoza and says he was a piece of trash who couldn't become their hero. Suddenly, one of the saints arrives and reveals they have found evidence that the highest holy magic of all, purification, was used recently. At first, the king believed the golden-haired hero must have used the spell, but he gets shocked after the saint reveals that it was used in the Dalavza forest in the north. At the forest, Venoza looks at the stats and can't believe he's leveled up without killing any monsters. He believes he can level up by using magic in this world and asks the system to show his remaining magic. The system does so, and he can't believe all of his magic has been fully restored. The system then recommends him a shapeshift magic, believing it will be a handful for him. Venoza agrees, and the system transforms him into a hot girl. Venoza looks at the size and believes it will cause a lot of problems for him. The system then transforms him into a man whom he feels is great, and believes no one will recognize him in this. The system also informs him that he can use teleportation magic, and he asks it to do so by teleporting him back into the kingdom. The system does so, and Venoza is glad that he has this amazing magic too, but gets sad after realizing that it cannot transport him back to his own world. He then decides to head to the Adventure Guild so that he can register himself as an adventurer and earn money by completing the given quests. He enters the guild, and the guild lady informs him about the rules of registration. She asks him about his name, and he hides his identity by revealing that his name is Fleo. The lady hands him a badge and tells him to keep it around himself, as it is used to determine an adventurer's rank. Fleo does so and heads to the board to find a quest of his rank, but gets surprised after seeing a little girl, who is asking others to escort her to the Dalavza forest. The girl is willing to pay for this quest and reveals her family lives there. But none of the adventurers is willing to take this job as they believe the Dalavza forest is filled with demons whom they cannot defeat. Fleo takes her offer and agrees to take her there. The girl can't believe this and thinks he's lying, but Fleo says he can take her there with his teleportation spell. The other adventurers are shocked at this revelation and can't believe this kid can use a legendary spell, which caused Fleo to realize the teleportation spell is not for beginners. A royal knight, Belirasa, arrives along with her friends and asks Fleo to prove his words. She says the teleportation spell is an advanced spell that can only be used by high-level sorcerers. Her friends believe he's a bad guy who is into girls, but Fleo says he's not lying and asks them to come outside, as it will not be good for him to show a teleportation spell in front of all the adventurers. The group does so, and Fleo immediately transports them to the Dalavza forest with his teleportation spell. The girls are shocked at this and believe he must be a sorcerer of the highest order. Belirasa apologizes to him for not believing in his words and being rude to her, but gets surprised after the girl reveals that the Malicium in the forest is gone. Suddenly, as Fleo begins to reveal that he was the one who purified this forest, the system informs him not to share information with the demons. All the girls surround the little girl with their weapons, and Belirasa reveals that the little girl is a demon who is using a spell to hide her true form. They begin to attack her, but the little girl transforms into her demon form and reveals that her name is Fenris, and she is the younger sister of Fengaril of the Infernal Four. Belirasa can't believe they are in the presence of a powerful demon lupine, and realizes that they are no match for her. Fenris immediately shoots her Malicium towards them, and all the girls fall before they can counter it. But she is surprised that her Malicium has no effect on Fleo. She gets mad and tries to eat them up, but Fleo saves their lives by sending them back to the kingdom with teleportation magic. He then decides to fight her alone and declares that he will use all of his magic spells to defeat her.